This week on the bonus round, we're in Las Vegas at the PlayStation Experience. I'm joined by Vice President of Publisher and Developer Relations, Adam Boyes, SVP of Product Development for Worldwide Studios, Scott Rohde, and GT veteran, Michael Pachter. Hey guys, it's Jeff Keighley. We are back here at the PlayStation Experience in Las Vegas for the bonus round with Michael Pachter, Scott Rohde, and Adam Boyes. And this time we are going to talk about future trends for PlayStation, some of the things you guys are talking about here. Project Morpheus, playable for the first time for fans. I actually haven't gone heads-on with it here, but Scott, you have some new stuff you're showing off too?
We do have some new things, and I think Adam has some new things that we're showing off on Morpheus as well. It's a pretty amazing technology. I frankly don't think anybody knows exactly where it's going to go. It's kind of like No Man's Sky. No one quite knows exactly where it's going to lead us, but that's what makes it exciting, is that every time someone puts that on and they experience something that touches them in a different way for the first time, they say, oh, now I get it. And then you ask them to explain, what do you mean you get it? I don't know. It was just something that was new.
And then you grab it and you're like, you got to try this, right?
That's right.
And that's such, I think, such an emotional experience. When you put that on, you have that thing. We have, there's this group based in Ottawa, Canada, that made this game called Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes. And so basically one person wears the Morpheus helmet, and then what they see is they see a bomb that they need to defuse, and the other person's not looking at the screen, so the audience can see the whole screen that's happening. They have to turn away, and they have a huge manual, a bomb defusal manual. So verbally, while one person's watching the bomb and it's ticking down, the other person's like, what do you see on the screen? How many panels? It's 4 panel? Okay, if it's how many wires? 6 wires? And it's this amazing thing that we brought it, we loved it so much actually, we brought it into an executive meeting, and I was like teaming up our executives to see who would help defuse these bombs the fastest. But in general, I mean, the creativity that comes out of a brand new form factor has been amazing. And I remember when we first started talking about it, about when we're going to announce it, I remember being in Japan and being in a meeting, like, why are we, it doesn't have a name or a date. And they're like, but that's what Sony does as a company. Like, we try things out, we see what people think, and that's why, you know, we've had it at trade events, but to have the public all try it out. I remember when my wife first tried it at E3, she was like, I want to do museum tours. I mean, her mind, and she's not much of a gamer, right? But it was so cool to watch how she thought about it. And every person walks out of it with a different reaction.
Totally right.
Super cool.
You're bringing up a good point. That's something that surprised us as a company, is all the non-game companies that have come to us and said, hey, we're really interested in this technology, tell me more. And we just didn't expect that. It's just because it's so immersive, it's so interesting. You could use it, like you said, museum tours, checking out a new car, test drive for the first time. It's pretty interesting stuff.
No, that experience of that VR is incredible. The head tracking. I mean, Michael, you've played, I'm sure, with this and, you know, Oculus, other devices. What's your take on the idea of this technology? Do you think it's going to be mainstream for games?
I think it's going to be mainstream for non-game applications. So Facebook bought Oculus for a reason, and it isn't that Facebook wants to be, you know, the dominant game developer. It's that Facebook said we can have cars advertised with an Oculus headset, and we can get a $50, you know, per view because we're converting a customer. And I honestly think that's a much bigger application. But with that said, proof of concept is going to be games, because if you don't give people something that's fun, they're never going to do it. So it's analogous to the smartphone. None of us own a smartphone to play games, but all of us play games on our smartphone. And I kind of think that's where Morpheus is going, where you probably aren't going to buy it to play games. You're probably going to buy it because Facebook has it linked into all this cool museum tour.
Well, I think our whole goal on our side is to make great game experiences for it.
Well, of course. And that's, as I said, there's a whole...
Say you have one, games is going to be something.
There's a tens of billions of dollar cottage industry that makes games for those stupid little smartphones. So clearly, the opportunity could be immense, and the first mover advantage could be immense. Chicken and egg. I don't think very many people are going to buy the headset solely to play the 10 games you're going to have for it, unless it's free. I mean,
I think people at this conference would disagree with you.
Yeah, this conference.
I want to go see it now.
I think, again, but one of the points, though, the point that Adam's bringing up, you would never think to make a game where you're defusing a bomb with the help of several people.
Someone's got a big manual and they're confused.
The whole point is, you know, you do that just, you know, on a 2D plane in front of you, it doesn't have the same impact. No designer would have thought that's going to be great until it actually feels real. This thing's going to blow up in my hands if my friends don't help me.
I so get why I am probably wrong. And I remember, but I remember.
I get why
Can we record that for posterity?
But I remember, in
gas,
2005 going down into Cantia Hall, and I see this line of 800 people who want to play Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
And those guys were my friends, and I'm like, this is amazing. And they're like, yeah, now it looks like we're going to sell 200,000 units. And I'm like, sell the company, get it while it's good because it's bad. Obviously not.
Gas.
He's trolling. He's trying to hide nobody.
Big announcement. Congratulations.
Great show. You can do like a 5.
Special appearance.
But obviously, Guitar Hero turned into something that was, tens
bigger
of
than
millions
anyone
or
ever
hundreds of
knew.
millions. Right.
Yeah.
So and it was at one point a $200 peripheral. So sure, this could end up being that big. I think you need to really capture the public's imagination the way they did, and you might. And you're not going to do it saying museum tour. I get that.
Yeah, I get
You're going to do it
You're saying that, and not just Project Morpheus, just VR in general. You're saying.
Well,
right?
I mean, look, it's Sony's a big
You're
company.
not sold on VR for gaming. It sounds like.
Right. It's something not a knock on Morpheus at all. Sony's a big company. They're going to do what they got to do to make it work.
I would disagree with you that I mean I think it's. The question I have is like, are you going to play? Are you going to play it for 15 or 20 hours at a time? Or are they going to be short session games? As you said, it may be different experiences.
Right.
So you're not going to play necessarily Uncharted and Morpheus, but you might play something else in the world done in a different way. And I mean, I think it could be. You guys are talking about diversity of content. There could be really cool experiences that would just be for a Morpheus or an Oculus.
Yeah.
Might be really
well,
good.
I think learning is huge. I mean, I think just putting it on and it shows you how to fix the car, or fix the plumbing.
But it's not just as a learning application, but it's a learning experience for us as developers as well, where frankly we have no idea what's going to work. So you try things that aren't normally game activities.
Right.
What would it be like to walk around in this room and pick stuff up and hand it to another person? Does that sound like a fun game activity? Absolutely not. But it's kind of fascinating to do that when you're in an alternate reality. It's pretty cool.
But the other thing is like Eve Valkyrie, we have a playable game as well, and you put that headset on, and that wish fulfillment is there. Like I'm in this fighter, I'm going around and ripping around in space, and that feeling is like no feeling I've had before. You're just like I'm doing. Your mouth starts getting dry because it feels like you're in the spacecraft. I actually played Adrift, which got announced at the Game Awards last night. And same thing, my heart started beating because you hear your heartbeat in the game. My mouth is dry. I'm like, this is not, this is a really deep experience.
I played that as well, kind of right after seeing Gravity.
Yeah.
And I played a demo of it, and it's very cool. It's tense. It's slow paced.
Yeah.
It's tense, just like that movie was. And you would think on a 2D screen, is that going to work? It might be kind of boring. But when you're in that world, experiencing it,
Feel it.
night and day.
And the one thing that I really do like about Morpheus too is, you already have a PlayStation 4, it's going to work with it, whereas something like an Oculus, you got to have a pretty high-end powered PC to do that. I mean, there's Gear VR and things that are more mobile.
If this is $99, it's going to be a phenomenal success. If it's $500, it's going to just be hard to explain to people why they need it. Sure, if it's an inexpensive peripheral that works with every PS4, and obviously you have the wherewithal to give people free games via download, so why not? That would be awesome.
If only Pachter ran the world, right?
Cheap hardware and free games for everyone. I love it.
Solves everything, right, Michael?
Well, again, it's like it's the down the road. You want the big install base because you can monetize that install base. So.
Pachter's going to bankroll it. $99 Morpheus. He's calling it here. All right, when we come back in the bonus, do the deal right here, Pat. Write the check. All right, when we come back in the bonus round, we're going to talk more about the PlayStation experience.